I asked you lot to send me your best Football Manager 2024 saves, and you delivered. So today we're going to explore 5 of your saves. And some of these accomplishments that you guys have achieved, I don't think I could do myself. We're starting off with Toma, who has done a Scunthorpe United save. All you need to know about Scunthorpe is they are currently in real life in England's 6th division. But we're now in 2055 and Scunthorpe are currently top of the Premier League table. In fact, they've been locked in a 15-year battle for the title with Tottenham Hotspur. Genuinely, I don't know what's more unrealistic, Scunthorpe or Tottenham winning the Premier League title. So in Season 1, he gets promoted from the Vanarama National League North via the playoffs, and then he goes straight into second place in the National League, but loses in the playoffs, because it takes him another season to win the title to get Scunthorpe back to the Football League. Then there are back-to-back promotions from League 2 and League 1, before taking 4 seasons to get promoted from the Championship. It takes 8 seasons for him to break into the top 5 of the Premier League, but after that, it's either first, second, or 1 third place in 2047. Now, one thing to note, every single submission here has not used the in-game editor in anything that they've done. If you want to use the in-game editor, absolutely fine, play the game your way. But it just makes these achievements even more impressive. I do have it enabled right now, so we can actually see how good these players are. Every single player has a current ability out of 200 and a potential ability out of 200. So when we look through this squad and see that every single player, apart from 3 of them, have all got 160 plus current ability, you know it's a very good team. 150 current ability is probably like a really top level Premier League player, so anything above that is elite world class. This is his main striker, Christian Kelling, and he has scored 53 goals in 44 starts across the season. 52 games including substitute appearances. What's even more impressive about it is that although he's finishing 16 composures 14, it's not the highest I've ever seen. It's not that incredible. Technique's only 16. I would have expected it to be a lot higher. Oh my god, this is incredible. This is the best bit. He's playing a 4-4-2. He's actually playing a 4-4-2. No, wow. Let me just save this. We've not even got individual, we've got stay wider on the wing backs. Is that it? Stay wide? No way. No individual instructions either. I guess because the team is just so good, we saw the current ability, whatever the formation they're going to go in, it's going to work, but clearly this is working very nicely. So Toma has gone on to win a lot of trophies, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, Europa Leagues and Conference Leagues. There's a whole trophy haul there. Wow, interestingly, he won the Champions League really early on in 2041, and then it took in fact a decade to get back to winning it again. Lost the final to Real Madrid, but then beat Real Madrid a few seasons later, and then lost to Monaco 3 seasons ago, but has just gone back-to-back against Barcelona. This season isn't over yet either, actually. They've got a semi-final against Tottenham. Toma, if you're watching this, please let us know in the comment section, did you beat Tottenham in the semi-finals? Did you go on to make it 3 in a row for Scunthorpe? Next up, we have Chris, whose sole aim has been to get Montenegro to be the #1 country in UEFA coefficients. To summarise, the UEFA coefficient is a score given to every country based on how far their individual clubs get in European competitions. So, for example, if a team from Montenegro get really far in Europe, they'll pick up a ton of points for Montenegro. Those points are then put into a big league table, and the higher up the league table you are, the more European spots you get for your country. But obviously, it is very hard to get to #1. Firstly, because countries like England, Spain and Germany, their clubs just have so much money, so it's hard to surpass them. But also, they start with more clubs in Europe anyway, so they're going to get more points in the first place. It's aspirational to try and get up there. Really, it is kind of rigged towards the leagues at the higher end of European football. Anyway, the year is 2172, and Montenegro are only second to England. Pointless this. If it's not #1, why are we looking at it? Wasted my time, Chris. To be fair to Chris, he did say they are #2 at the end of the save file, but they were #1 for a little while in the 2150s, which is pretty hilarious to say out loud, the 2150s. He's also been managing Igalo, who are the champions of Montenegro right now. In fact, they are the 79-time champions of Montenegro, as well as winning 18 Champions Leagues. Interestingly, not many in recent seasons though, has just won it in the most recent season, but didn't win it for 6 years before that, had 2 in a row there, lost the final to Inter Milan. But I do enjoy how we are seeing Basel, by the way, runner-up. I do enjoy how we are seeing other Montenegrin sides as runners-up. This club lost in the final, but they have actually gone on to win a Europa League and a Conference League, which is pretty cool. I love save files like this. They are just mental. Again, using the in-game editor, we can see how good these players are in terms of current ability and potential ability. There are some insane players there, but I don't think it's quite as good as the Scunthorpe team we just saw. However, Juan Rodriguez is a 200 out of 200 current ability player, which makes him the greatest player of all time in terms of current ability levels, and you can kind of see why. He's a very good striker, 18 technique, dribbling, finishing and first touch, pace is 17, he's got some decent mentals as well, but maybe not quite as high as a goal scorer as the guy in Scunthorpe, interestingly. Only 35 in 29 starts this season, 49 games in all competitions. Although nearly a goal a game for Uruguay is pretty cool, that's not bad at all. Now this is an interesting tactic. I have not actually seen anyone run a 4-3-3 like this from the narrow three midfielders. Again, I'm going to save this. I am very intrigued because every player, not quite every player, everyone in midfield has marked specific position on there. Do the defenders have that? No, they don't. All three midfielders have marked specific position, and so does the right forward. So he's being asked to specifically mark the left centre-back, and then these midfielders are being asked to mark the DM, they're being asked to mark the DM on the right, and I guess the DM on the left, if there is a DM on the left. Yep, or a midfielder on the left. So yeah, kind of corresponding to defensive midfielders or centre mid, whichever one's being used. That's interesting. I've never seen that before in a tactic. Clearly it works though. I mean, 18 Champions League is pretty good. Although saying that, I assume to get to 2172 he's had to spend a lot of time on holiday. Oh my god, what? Only 85 days on holiday. Chris has actually played this into 2172. Game time 73 days pretty much. Okay, Chris, this is just a figment of your imagination. This isn't a TomFM video. This is an intervention. We're all here to help you. This is the problem, okay? This is a serious problem, which I'm actually very low-key impressed about. Chris, my hat is off to you. He's also left us some nice advice. I found out a little cheat day, May the 1st, where if you offer your loanies out for permanent transfer, you get loads more bids on that day. It saved us financially and helped the other clubs own their own great players. So if you're doing a Building a Nation save, that is maybe a little tip you may want to keep in mind. Try it out maybe. Next up we have Gabe, who's taken over at Crunbrand Town. I don't understand Welsh. How am I meant to say this? It just makes no sense. He's taken his local team from the Welsh 4th tier and is going all the way up to the top. So it is the start of a new season, but he is in the top flight in Wales at the moment and has won it 9 seasons in a row, which is pretty dominant if you ask me. Not only that, he's also won 2 Champions Leagues, beating Barcelona and Real Madrid in the final. We can actually see that most recent final as well. Incredible scenes, winning in extra time despite being down for 10 men for a good 22 minutes there. That is an incredible final. Joey Ellis is the best player at the club right now, has got 158 goals and 121 caps total for the club. Oh, he actually came through the youth intake as well, that's mental. But he is playing a 4-3-3, which is very good in Football Manager 24. Pretty standard in terms of how we're doing all the tactics as well. It's the sort of proven, tried stuff on there. Have we got any instructions on players? Stay wider on the inside forward. But no other individual instructions on players. Sit narrower for the fullbacks. Ease off tackles on some of the defenders as well. It clearly works because Joey Ellis has got a ton of goals. Although, remember, this is in Wales, so maybe the other teams haven't quite caught up as much just yet to how good this team is. Up next, we've got Chloe, who started life at Sunderland, but overachieved and won them the Champions League in 3 seasons. So after that, she has decided to go on to try and win the Champions League in every continent in her own Pentagon Challenge. So going back to the 25-26 season, I can confirm that Sunderland did indeed win the Champions League, beating Leipzig in the final. But hang on, Barcelona, PSG and Real Madrid in the knockout stages. That is an incredible run of results there. And RB Leipzig in the final seems like child's play after that. After Sunderland, went to Flamengo in Brazil, won the Copa Libertadores there, Sundowns in South Africa, Urawa in Japan. My football knowledge is unparalleled. And then won the CONCACAF Champions Cup with Santos Laguna in Mexico, before then coming back to Man City after 3 years out of a job and then has since returned to Sunderland. Because Chloe never won them the Premier League in the first place, she's had to come back to try and win it with them, has won the last 2 Premier Leagues ahead of Tottenham and Man City and Arsenal in third. She also won the Champions League in those past 2 seasons as well, but really interestingly, Sunderland without Chloe have gone on to win 2 other Champions Leagues. She was doing her Pentagon Challenge at this point, may have been at Man City by the time Sunderland won their 3rd Champions League, but these 2, they won them without Chloe. Oh, it's a very good team as well. It's a really good team. Just based on current ability numbers, it is... I mean, still, I don't think it's quite as good as the Scunthorpe team we saw right at the start of the video, but it's up there. The best player is this holding midfielder. Mentally, absolutely insane. Physically and technically, like, not that amazing, but clearly mentals have a huge impact on a player's current ability, because this guy's 183 current ability. If we looked at this striker, for example, I might be tempted to say he looks like a better player on paper because of the high dribbling, finishing, first touch, technique, and pace and acceleration. But his current ability is 170. Lower, obviously. That's how numbers work, Tom. Oh, Chloe. What is this asymmetric nonsense? This is so woke. I'm also really intrigued by the lack of tactical... I mean, sometimes simple is best. You don't need a lot of instructions. And none of the players have any individual instructions on them at all. Whatever it does, this works, clearly, quite nicely, because you've won the Champions League and Premier League, right? Chloe Ball 2.0, I'm going to save it and give it a go. Up next, we have Alex, who's in charge of Hereford, who are in the 6th tier of English football. But Alex's aim was to get them to the top. And get them to the top he has. They are currently in the Premier League. And after agonising missing out on the title in 2037 and 38, 39 and 40, they won the title. And have also ended up winning 3 Champions Leagues. Which is really funny, because that means that Hereford have won more Champions Leagues than they have Premier Leagues. I don't know why I'm acting surprised. I know this squad's going to be good, and we can see it here from the current ability. Like, this is an insane... Again, it's not as good as that Scunthorpe team, I don't think. This might be the closest one because there's quite a lot of players over 170 current ability. Clement Manso is the top dog, though, of the team. You can see why. 19 composure, 19 finishing, 16 technique, off the ball 20. This guy's insanely good. Oh my word, £255 million you spent on him. Alex, I think we need to have a conversation about your financial control. And for £255 million, I'm expecting him to get more than 19 goals in the Premier League. Whoa. What is this? This is... I don't know what I'm looking at. I feel uncomfortable. I've never tried a formation like this. I've never seen anyone try a formation like this. We're asking the wingbacks to cross into the middle of the penalty area, which makes sense given there's 4 players going to be there, and also run wide with the ball to provide the width because there's no width elsewhere. And then we're asking this attacking midfielder to do absolutely everything. Move into the channels, roam from his position, so he's kind of just getting all over this kind of area, getting wide, coming narrow. He's got his license to do whatever he wants. Is that kind of like Cantona? He was just kind of told, do what you want, and he did it, and people liked it. I guess it works. Alex actually goes into a lot of detail about a lot of the players in his save file. This guy, Jordan Flatley, was a youth product of Hereford and the best youth product that Hereford have ever had by looks of things. He had to be moved on to Newcastle recently, but begrudgingly, because he looks like a very good player. And in fact, let's use the in-game editor to find out. 180 current ability. Very, very good. I guess he moved him on because he's not using wingers, basically. Do I have a favourite of these? I do. I'll be honest, I do have a favourite out of these 5 save files. It's obviously Chris's save in Montenegro. That just blows my mind that he has played that much Football Manager, got that far into the future, and managed to get Montenegro to be arguably the best club country in Europe. Anyway, make sure you are subscribed and keep an eye out on the community tab because I will be asking you for more Football Manager saves and Football Manager Wonder Kids and all sorts in the future. In the meantime, you can watch this video on screen where I asked you lot to send me your funniest Football Manager moments, and some of them were pretty good. Others not so funny at all. They didn't make me laugh at all, but some of them very good.